we're going to check out the SMSL HO100 and DO100 headfire, amplifier, and DAC. So this is a two-piece kit that's pretty cool. So on this side, you've got your headphone amplifier, and over here, you've got your DAC. So really, to build a full headphone environment, all you need is a source for this, right? So let's get started with the DAC, because this would be first in the signal chain, right? So, and I'll talk through how that cables up here in just a second. And you're seeing this for the first time as I am. I've not opened these up before. So we're going to see what this stuff looks like, just as if you were getting it yourself if you bought one. And just in general, SMSL makes really, really great gear. So I've always been pleased by everything that I've used from them, and I don't expect this to be any different, but this is a new one. All right, so let's see what we got in here. User manual, yay. We then get into the cabling. We've got power cable, and it's a nice US power cable. We have USB connection, and a lot of people will use this with a laptop or a computer, and that's what this really is for. So this will connect back to your PC, and your PC would be your source. Obviously, you can use any source that you would like, but this enables people to do that are into it that kind of way. We also have an antenna, and we'll get into that in a bit. I believe this would be for Bluetooth, but we'll check and see. And remote control. All right, let's see what this thing looks like. All right, it's plastic, so it's not metal. It's got all the buttons that I would assume that you need on this guy. And, all right, there are no batteries in there. And are there batteries in here? All right, looks like you're going to need to provide your own batteries for this guy. All right, and let me just double check. Yep, I don't see anything anywhere else. All right, and then move it into here. All right, here we are. DO100 DAC. On the rear, we have outputs, so you've got both XLR and RCA. Let me see if I can get a little bit closer for you, which is very nice. Coax, input, your antenna, optical, and USB. And when I test this, I'm likely to be using this with USB off of my PC, and I'll stream Qobuz into this unit, and then your power. And let's screw this guy on here. And then you have a nice button or turner button on the front. It clicks as I spin it, not audibly, but you can feel it. And it also pushes. Now let's look over here at the user manual and see what we've got. Do we have any English in here? Okay, safety notes, warranty terms. So this is a ESS 9038Q2M, 2 pieces on the DAC side of the house. Bluetooth chip, so that's what the antenna is going to be. So if you wanted to Bluetooth directly from your phone, that would be absolutely an option for this, which is pretty cool. And I think just the stuff that we've looked at before here, nothing super crazy. All right, so that is what the DAC portion of this stack looks like. Let's move on, and we'll pull out the amplifier. So high resolution headphone amplifier, the HO100. There are tons of good products coming out of China as far as audio goes. And the cool part about these, and these are sent over by a company called Ayoshida Audio, and they resell SMSL and a number of different technologies, different products out there. But I really, really like the SMSL brand. It's got a really, really great reputation, and it's priced right, which is another thing I appreciate, because you don't have to have a super high-priced piece of equipment for it to be really, really awesome. And these pieces are really, really, really good. Yeah, so the question was, SMSL is a Chinese brand? It is. It is. All right, so looking at the DAC, or I'm sorry, the headphone amplifier, we've got instructions. We have the pass again, which I assume it's like a registration. Yeah, so, and, people were asking about the company. Yeah, SMSL is the Phonin Shuang Michelin Technology Company. So, however you pronounce it all. This is a little bit simpler. You got a power cable, and you got the box, right? So, my guess is, let me pull this DAC back out. You would use this as your preamp in your system as well, with your volume control here. Now there's a volume control down here too, so as I get to the video for setting this up, we'll figure out exactly the best way to handle that piece. All right, and let's see, what do we have on the face of this? So we've got your volume control, and then an on and off button. And I kind of like the way they did the buttons here. They're really easy to understand where they're positioned, and they click. It's just very straightforward. I like that. You can choose your XLR RCA input. So if you have two different devices plugged into this, you can select, and then an high, mid, or low. And off the top of my head, I'm not sure exactly what this is going to do. We'll have to look. And then we've got headphones. Now, on the back here, we've got XLR inputs, RCA inputs, and power. So that's it. So if we look at this stack all together, you would want to get some really super short XLR cables and just output from your DAC into here, right? And then if you wanted to use RCAs, same thing here, but I would say down here, maybe you'd use your XLRs coming off this guy, and then you would use these for another source if you wanted. Up here, you would input maybe via USB from your computer, and then you'd have dual power. What would be really nice is to get like a little power cord that's got two ends here and then one that you can plug in. That'd be kind of sweet. And then flipping this all back around, you can see exactly what you got going on here on the front. And this does not have a remote for the amplifier, so you could use the remote for the DAC to control volume if you wanted to. So you just set this wherever you want it, and then you would use the remote off of your DAC for that. So let's take a quick look at the instructions, see if anything pops out here that's interesting. I think we get to the English on the second half. Oh, this is that's the DAC. This is the one. All right. So the one I was curious about is number 4. And number 4, is the gain selection. So apparently that's a little bit of EQ, and you can high, mid, or low that. That's interesting. All right. SMSL is really good. You see them mentioned quite a bit in the same sentences as topping and other products in that kind of price range. And from my point of view, they've all been really, really good. A topping has become my go-to DAC, and I've had access to DACs that cost many, many thousands of dollars, and they're great, but they're not so much better that I would want to invest that much money. Really, DACs should all sound the same, right? You shouldn't get EQ out of a DAC. A DAC just converts from digital to analog and then outputs that out for amplification or whatnot, right? And the goal is for every DAC to be true to the source. So if you're hearing differences in the output of DACs, that means something weird has happened, right? There's some kind of design issue that's changing the sound somehow. So you want as transparent as possible a DAC as you can find, and the SMSLs have done that all for me in the past. And as I build a review for this, you'll be able to get my point of view on this one. And I hope that this is exactly the same. And where you would want to look around for differentiation in your products with DACs is the additional features that they have. Now, some people are just like, all I want a DAC to do is have a digital in and then XLR out. And that's great, right? In a very high-end 2-channel listening environment, I think that's perfect. Folks that are looking for a more multi-purpose DAC might like this one because it'll have Bluetooth in and things like that, right? You can use it as preamp, et cetera, et cetera. So I think that's interesting as well from a feature point of view. But like I said, when you're really dealing with DACs, they should all sound the same in a perfect world, because they are trying to, as faithfully as possible, convert the digital to analog. All right, so hopefully you've enjoyed this little walk down the road with some SMSL technology provided by Aoshida Audio. So check those guys out. You can buy all kinds of cool stuff from them at price points that will blow your mind, especially if you're used to going to 2-channel hi-fi shows and looking at $15,000 DACs. You'll look at this stuff and say, how is this even possible? Well, I guarantee you it's totally possible. It totally exists. Thanks, everybody, and I'll see you guys in the next one.